All right, it's the real estate market update for July. And I'm going to bring some stats to you, then we're going to look at a summary and I'll give you my thoughts on where the market is going. We'll kind of analyze what it's doing right now and then talk about how that relates to buyers, sellers, and those that are already in a home right now. So let's start with the Tri-County area, Sacramento region. The number of homes for sale actually increased by 17.7% for the month of June. Pendants were pretty stable, not a lot of movement there, is almost flat. The number of solds in the Tri-County region actually dropped by 8.2%. So that may have been a little bit to do with rates being somewhat volatile, moving some buyers in and out of the market. And then it could also be just the lack of available inventory right now. Buyers just aren't finding what they want and they're not able to transact. So days on market dropped by 26%. That's pretty solid. That means things are still moving quickly. Buyers are still very engaged with the market, and homes are selling at 99% of their listed price. So that means that on average, most sellers are doing pretty well with their pricing, and buyers are still seeing value in that. The months of inventory based on closed sales actually went up 27.5%, which is a pretty big jump. So that's a combination of less sales and more inventory. We'll talk about Placer County a little bit. The number of homes for sale went up by 17.2%. That's again pretty in line with the region. Pendants also flat for the month, also in line. However, the number of homes sold actually increased by 2.5%. So Placer County kind of broke from that regional trend, and we actually saw an increase there. So days on market in Placer County dropped by 21.1%. That still shows lots of engagement. Buyers are motivated, so it's down to 30 days in Placer County. And the listings are actually selling at 98% of list price in Placer County. So that tells me two things. Buyers may be negotiating a little bit harder. Maybe the sellers are overpricing their properties a little bit and buyers just aren't seeing as much value at the list price. So again, that shows, pricing a property when you're trying to sell it is so important. That's a big piece of connecting with the market. And that also plays into how fast you're going to sell. So let's see, the median sales price actually dropped in June from May. So after basically 6 months of increases, we saw a very, very slight decrease. Nothing that I would be too concerned about right now. I think overall we're just seeing some of that normal price softening, value softening that we see during summer. Increased inventory, softening of prices, pretty typical. And that leads me into the summary. I do think overall that we're getting back to much more normal market dynamics. While there's a lot less sales happening and overall the market is not moving as much as it would in a quote unquote normal year, I think we're seeing a little bit more normal market dynamics. And so that means we should see increased inventory over the next couple months for summer. We may see those prices soften up a little bit. Maybe we drop down to a 97% of list price. We'll see. That remains to be seen. Depends on rates. Rates just jumped again. So that's definitely putting some pressure on buyers right now, which in turn is going to put some pressure on the sellers that need to sell. So in summary, I would say if you're a seller, price your home right, and if you can do some small upgrades or improvements and really make the home nice, make it stand out, you're going to be in good shape. Buyers are really attracted to remodeled, move-in ready homes right now. Homes that are really outdated or need some repair are having a little bit of a tough time. If you're a buyer, I would say maybe adjust your criteria a little bit. Location's always number one, so take that into consideration first. But beyond that, if you're not seeing something that you really want in the market right now, that might not change. So you might need to adjust a couple of your other criteria in order to get into a home. And then, I would say for both, there are always opportunities. Look for the opportunities. See what can you specifically do, what can you individually do to capitalize on the market, where it's at for you, and go from there. If you're somebody that already owns a home and you're in a home, you don't really have plans to sell, that's great. I would say, we're probably going to see a little bit of a more flat, stagnant market for maybe the next couple of years. I hate to try and extrapolate too much, because things can definitely change and they can change quickly. But I would say, as of right now, my thought is we're probably just going to see more of the same for a few years. Sellers are really locked into homes. They've got great payments. They've got great rates. They're not going anywhere. So if you own a home, you know what? Do some improvements, make some upgrades, and really just make it what you want and enjoy it for a while. And for those that keep asking about distress sales, foreclosure sales, can we get 50 cents on the dollar? When is that going to happen? I just don't think it's going to happen for a couple reasons. One of those being that I think for anybody that's maybe close to missing a payment or getting a little tight financially, I do think they're going to figure out any way that they possibly can to keep that home, because it's going to be really hard to duplicate that great payment. Rents are up, and with current mortgage rates, trying to go buy another house, the payment would jump. So I think folks are really going to fight tooth and nail to keep their homes and not let those go into default or turn into foreclosures, which means I don't think we're going to see many of those. So I think it's just going to be a little flat for a while. Get used to it, dig in, find the best opportunity for you individually. And if you'd like to make an appointment, we can talk about buying, selling, or what the best improvement would be to do to your home for future value. Love to sit down with you. I love talking about this stuff, and it's fun to dig into the stats and really analyze each individual neighborhood. So hope you're having a great month, and we'll be back with more information in August. Thanks.